think it's important for the SWICs to be involved in cyber grant planning because they know their states, they know what's necessary, they have the contacts information, and they can make sure that the correct agencies are getting the information that's available, getting those grants, and taking care of their statewide systems.
And so involving the SWIC in those is really important because, again, a lot of those agencies don't really know, and a lot of their communications systems, that, hey, I gotta be paying attention to this. When you get into your IT sections and you talk about cybersecurity, they don't understand that piece either. And so the SWIC is gonna bridge those gaps and make sure that everything in totality, whether it's data, it's voice, whatever it may be, that they're actually putting all of that into play when you're talking cybersecurity.
To give an example is, within a public safety solution, our downtime window for maintenance is very, very small. Where in our traditional IT environment, a maintenance window for them may be a span of 8 hours. If we were to go to any of our first responders out there and even suggest that your technology solution is not going to be available for the potential span of 8 hours, that is completely unacceptable. And emergency communications is from the most basic level of our local users out there, whether it be the emergency communications center or alert and warning, any of those pieces that are out there. All of that becomes the valuable reason why the SWIC is a key resource in the governance model around cyber development plans in the state, as well as helping define where those grant dollars are driven.
Most of us are very experienced in public safety and in the emergency response world. Many of us have backgrounds in public safety communications response and hold the ESF2 or Emergency Support Function 2 communications lead role. So that plays a lot into the cyber response aspect of things. Networks have to be in place, infrastructure has to be in place in order to support a cyber response. And then two, we really have those relationships that already exist with those public safety communications owner-operators and critical infrastructure providers in the communications, and a lot of times also in the energy world, because communications doesn't exist without energy. And so we can be conduits into those worlds and bring those parties to the table. And so those are some of the key network providers that those cybersecurity experts are really going to want to engage with in order to secure those networks and mitigate those risks. When the cyber planning efforts go on, one of the things that's going to really need to happen is it's going to need to be a whole community effort. That effort is very similar to how we do our State Communications Interoperability Plan, or SCIP. Our SCIP is really meant to be a whole of community, whole of public safety, cross-jurisdictional, cross-governmental effort. And so that experience in doing that and walking through the strategic planning effort can really benefit cybersecurity planners as they walk through essentially that same strategic planning effort as well.
So the expertise that a SWIC can bring to cyber planning, especially related to communications, really goes back to what the SWIC can do to start those conversations again with all these different groups. Because a lot of times they don't realize just how tightly bound they are in this cyber world.
Being a part of the planning committee for the cybersecurity plans allows us the opportunity to make sure they're not forgetting about the interoperability and the communications and the pieces that we'll then have to do consequence management on later, but being on the planning part ahead of time helps us with that.